Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Amazing Foundation Ministries International Parents Corner. Today, my message to you and your family is mainly for those of you who have toiled and toiled and toiled for so long, and you're wondering, but how? But why? But how do I make it? And you've prayed and prayed and prayed, you've bound, you've been able to lose, and you're still wondering, where is the solution? What is going on? Why am I not breaking through? I'm going to read for you the book of Luke chapter 5 verse 4. The book of Luke chapter 5 verse 4. It says, "And it came to pass that as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of God, he stood by the lake of Gennesaret and saw two ships standing by the lake. But the fishermen were gone out of them and were washing their nets. And he entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's, and prayed him that he would thrust out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people out of the ship. Now when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, Launch out into the deep, and let down your nets for a draught. And Simon answering said unto him, Master, we have toiled all the night, we have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word, I will let down the net. And when they had this done, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, and their nets break." That verse that I've just read is a serious discovery even for me today. I had to even pause to read more about it because I really enjoyed it, reading it over and again. Now, imagine this. Simon and probably his other friend, they were looking for fishes. They were busy trying to fish to get a great multitude of fish. And they were busy even washing their nets. They stepped out of the boat. They were washing their nets. And Jesus was looking for a place to sit and put the crowd so that he could teach them. And imagine that he told Simon, which is Simon Peter, of course. He told Simon, "Can you please give me a space? I just want to preach the gospel." Even the amplified version says this. I'll read it to you. It says, and verse 3 says of Luke chapter 5 verse 4, "And getting into one of the boats, the one that belonged to Simon Peter, he requested him to draw away a little from the shore. Then he sat down and continued to teach the crowd of the people from the boats." Are you that person that has been toiling and toiling and toiling and doing quite a lot? I'm telling you, I'm one of them. I've tried loads of businesses since I came into this country. You do all this MLM, you try Herbalife, you tried aloe vera, you tried all sorts. Some will work well for you, some wouldn't. You try to set up your own, you try to create a website, all sort of things happen. You've toiled and toiled and toiled. And you're wondering, but I'm praying, but I'm paying my tithe, but I'm going to church. What is going on? You've toiled all day long, all years long, all months long, and you're wondering, where is the way out? Where is the way? I'm telling you. Now let's look at it very well. Jesus told Simon Peter to get out of the boat. Yeah, I'm using my own English now. Get out of the boat. Let me just quickly use your boat to preach. So my question to you, and even to myself over and over again, is this: what is it that the Lord, you're asking God to do this and that for you? You've tried your best, but the Lord is saying, can you step out? Let me use you. Let me use that thing in your hand first. Step out of your ability. Have some rest. Let me speak to you. Let me use you for my own glory. You know, some of you, maybe the Lord has asked you to do something. You're looking for your own business, but the Lord is saying, can you step out a bit? I want to use that your vessel. Are you a singer? Are you a prophet? Or you are not even aware that you're a prophet and the Lord wants to use you? And you're busy looking for your own business. You're saying, well, when God blesses me and I become so rich, then I'll be able to help people. Well, I'm telling you, I've been in that position before. I just want to quickly, I know quite all right that I wanted to do it for God, but I was looking up and down. I was trying to do all sort of business that comes my way so that I will be able to have money to do God's work. The work was seriously running after me, but I needed money to do it. And I was telling God, this is the way. You can't tell God the way. He owns the job. He created you. He put that talent in you. You know, some of us, we are not even aware of the talent that God has given to us. We're not aware. Some of us, we are just doing copycat, unfortunately. You know, we just see somebody singing, we want to sing. We see somebody dancing, we want to dance. But I'm telling you, there is a unique creativity in you that the Lord has deposited in you before you were born. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, there is a creativity that has been deposited in you. It's uniquely created to you, for you, in you. It's all about you. Nobody else can be like it. You see, I always tell my children that we are spirits. We've only been borrowed. We only borrow these bodies to live in. We only borrow this body. You know, that is the body that was developed in our mother's womb, but we are actually spirits. So I always ask my children, just imagine when you were in heaven, there must be something, you know, that you used to do. There must be something that was peculiar to you in heaven. And the Lord sees you as a vessel that will bring people to his glory, that will do something wonderful, that will be that will lead the way to Christ, you know, that will lead people to Christ. And he says, okay, now you can come to the world and do that. And you're here, you're wondering, where do I go? Where do I turn? I've toiled. I've tried my best. I'm telling you, I've been in this situation before. I've done all doables. When it comes to, not bad doables, but I'm saying I've done all doable businesses. You know, you creating a website. Oh, just looking for various opportunities online. Yes, I've done that. You know, probably other big businesses that is not worth risk taking. Probably I haven't done those one. But talk about Herbalife, aloe vera. If you're out there, you're doing all this. I've done all that. Now, what I'm telling you is this. I'm not saying don't do businesses. Please don't get me wrong. But what makes a difference here is the Lord Jesus Christ asked Simon Peter to step out a little so that he could use that vessel, that boat that belongs to him, so that he could use it to preach the gospel. Now, listen to this. After he finished, he stepped out. He finished teaching the crowd. After he finished teaching the crowd, he now told, in fact, Peter didn't even ask him anything. Simon Peter, he didn't ask him anything. As he stepped out of the crowd, he told him, launch it into the deep. Launch it into the deep. And Peter was even trying to give Jesus Christ some information as well. Lord, Master, we've been here all night. We've done this, we've done that. We've tried our best to catch, but at your word, we will launch into the deep. And you can imagine, just after they did that, just see miracle. So my question is, what has the Lord asked you to do first? What has the Lord asked you to do first? What step has he asked you to take first? And you seem to ignore that step. And you're wondering, but I'm praying. But I can speak in tongues. And you know, when I speak in tongues, the demons don't have any excuse. They just have to run away from me. Yep. You know, one of my pastors was preaching one day. He said, you'll be surprised that many Christians, they can speak in tongues. They're living a holy life and they're living in poverty. They are living a holy life, genuinely holy life, but they are living in poverty. And you wonder why, how? But my God is not a God of poverty. You know, it says that in righteousness we shall be established. So when you live in righteousness, you'll be established. And this one is not even of their own righteousness. This is of the righteousness of God. But yet they are in poverty. Could it be one of the reasons is that you're not allowing that vessel to be used first? You need to ask God what it is. I don't really know what it is. You know, I have to tell you what, for myself and my family, I had to actually find out from God. I said, I'm going to actually take time. I'm going to find out from God what we needed to do in order to get out of the mess. Because there was a time we were in serious mess as a family. You know, imagine a couple with 2 children, with pregnancy, with no job. You can imagine that. So I don't want to go go deep, but you can imagine that with no job, and this is going for over a year. Over a year. I had time when there was a family. She met me on the way with 3 children. She said to me, she said, how many children have you got? I said 3 children. She said to me, she said the Lord asked her that when she got out of the station, that she will find a lady. She's got 3 children and she should give her £10. And I thought to myself, wow, Lord. So in the midst of all this, you're here. But I just told myself that I don't want token. So I really needed to find out exactly what was going on. Exactly what was going on. I needed to find out. So I spoke to my husband. I said to him, I can't forget that day. I had my little daughter on my back that time. She was a baby. And so I said, I'm going to find out from God what we need to do to get out of this mess. Lo and behold, I slept. I forgot to ask him, but he did not forget to tell me. And then I found myself washing babies. That's intercession. I had to speak to one of my pastors. I said, that's intercession. I had to get in there. And as I got into the business of the Lord, as I allowed him to use me as a vessel, then he began to open the way for us. I'm telling you, don't toil too much. Don't toil too much. Wait on the Lord. That's what the Bible says. Wait on the Lord. Wait on him. It's not just waiting and just sit down and pray and say, well, I'm waiting. Launch into the presence of God. And then he will launch you. He will tell you where to launch. Launch into the presence of God. Wait on him. Let him borrow your vessel to use. In fact, don't even let him borrow. And then you go back and do something else. No, give him all of you. Give him everything about you. I've had many times that I have to commit myself. In fact, there was a time I was just going out, and then he told me that he read the Bible verse clearly to me. He said that we should offer our life as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Lord. And I kept hearing that Bible verse over and over again, and I kept saying it as well. And I thought, what does this mean? Offer my life as a living sacrifice, as a pleasing sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto him. He said that because that's my worship, that's my greatest worship. So I began to tell God, just help me, help my husband, help my children, help us to offer our lives as a living sacrifice. And since we started saying that, he came on board heavily, driving the way himself, driving that boat himself, leading us on what to do. But all along, his job was the first thing that he always put on my mind. His job, what he wanted me to do, what he wanted my husband to do, what he wanted my children to do, what he wanted us to do for our children, to teach them in the way of the Lord, was always coming. When we ignore it, there's no way out for us. In fact, he told us to take steps that when you hear it, you will think, this lady is so foolish. There was a time he asked us to without money, you just a little change that comes to your hand, just every token that comes. And he asked us to set up a program for children. And I stepped out, and I did. And we had to pay for that place. And nobody was coming. Imagine. To the extent that there was an old white lady. She just came to me. She said, don't you think it's not working? Don't you think you should close down? And I'm telling you, unfortunately, as human being, I listened. We closed down. After closing down, like for a month, the trouble that I receive, and you are saying one demon is troubling you. Be careful that you are not against the will of God. Be careful that you are not against the will of God. I'm telling you, within 1 month, I stepped out again. I printed loads of flyers, and eventually, you know what happened? I got into a library, and they told me to be using the place for free. God is powerful, I'm telling you. God is powerful. There is no power that can comprehend his power. You cannot understand the way he works. You just listen, just obey him, whatever he tells you to do. Instead of toiling, you know what? One thing I've learned a lot now. There's no point if I'm looking for if I'm looking to buy something. There's no point struggling if I don't have money to buy that thing. Just go to the presence of God. Just use your word. Just say, Lord, in fact, I've done this several times. The Lord told me to go and buy a particular fruit and eat. When I got there and I thought, well, I don't have money to buy this fruit. It's like £3 for a very small bowl. You can even count how many of these fruits are in there. And I just made a statement that day. I was like, Lord, I I just want you to please make a way for me so that I'll be able to buy that. I can't even remember the exact statement I made. Do you know what? I got to that shop. When I got it, they sold the same fruits for 10 pence instead of £3 per bowl. 10 pence. I packed like 10 of it. They were still very good. I just froze them. Let us just watch out the way we are moving, the way we are doing things for God. He wants to use us. He's saying, all those toiling. You can imagine Simon Peter, they're looking for fishes. Because they were fishermen. All those toiling, looking for fishes, we really want to do well. We are trying our best. We are positive. You've even got something good. This is not something negative now. This is not about negative business. This is a positive thing that you're planning to do. And you're still toiling. You're toiling. You've taken so long. And you're wondering, where is the way out? The Lord is asking you, the first thing first. Can you please step out? Step out a little. Let me make use of your boats. Step out a little. Let me make use of you. Lead me. Tell me to lead you. That's it. Tell me to lead you where you should go. Because some of us, the Lord wants us to pray for sick people. Some people are sick because of us, because we have not prayed for them. And we are asking for miracle, but I'm telling you, we are somebody's miracle as well. We are actually somebody's miracle. We are actually somebody's prayer intercessor. And they're just surrounding us there. They're surrounding us. People are asking for helpers of destiny. For some of us, we are actually the helpers of destiny. And tell me, you might be saying in your mind, helpers of destiny, when even me, I need help. I'm telling you, step out and help that person. If you don't know who the person is, step out and ask God, who is this person? Just relinquish yourself, your body, your soul, your spirit, to be used heavily by God. Don't forget, Peter said, step out. Jesus Christ said to Peter, step out a little. I want to use your boat. And after he stepped out, he told the Jesus Christ allowed the disciples the crowd to sit down on the boat. He preached the gospel to them. After he stopped preaching, they obviously, the Bible didn't say it clearly that way, but obviously they all left the boat. And the Lord told Simon Peter, he got back into the boat, and the Lord told him, launch it into the deep. He was even trying to give excuses. We've launched out, we've tried with this, with that. And then they couldn't even pack it. Their nets broke. That is telling you that when you launch out to do the will of God first, when you launch out, when it is calling you, is asking you, even your children, husband, wife, is asking you, is calling you, can you please let me use your boats? Let me use your boats. That instrument that you've got, that business that you've got, let me use it. One of my friends told me recently, she said she set up a business. And while she was doing that business, she didn't get what the Lord wanted her to set up the business for. She's gone to school, she's graduated and all sort of things. And then she didn't do what was meant to do. The business folded up. She had to start all over again. And when she started all over again, the Lord told her that you have not, what I actually asked you to do, you haven't done it. And she obviously repented. She started all over again. And do you know what she said? Every time people come to her, as the moment that person sit down in front of her, everything that is going on in the person's life, the Lord begins to speak to her, and she will begin to speak to them to the extent that the people start crying. Sometimes when the parents come with their children, they start crying, they're wondering, and she prays for them. You can imagine, business-wise, and she's praying for them. Obviously, she owns her own business. So, you can imagine that. So, step out. Ladies, gentlemen, teenagers, step out. Moms, dads, step out. Children, step out. Step out of that boat. Let the Lord use that boat. Let the Lord use you mightily. And then, he will tell you what to do next. As for Peter, he told him, launch it into the deep. And they caught a fish. To the extent that the net broke. God is ready to bless you. Don't toil too long. Enough is enough of your toiling. The Lord has promised you greatness. Receive it. Until next time, stay blessed. Don't toil too long. Launch it into the deep. Listen to God. And He will bless you. And that's from me today. Amazing Foundation Ministries International Parents Corner. Toluwalope Downsi. God bless. Bye.